It all started on a warm Istanbul afternoon. Barış, a man with a calm strength in his eyes, had always believed that life should be steady, predictable, and disciplined. He thrived on routines, morning runs by the Bosphorus, scripts carefully highlighted, schedules never broken. He liked to be in control. Elçin, on the other hand, was a storm wrapped in sunlight. Her laughter carried across rooms, her red hair blazed like fire in the wind, and her spirit was as unpredictable as the waves that crashed against the Galata Bridge. She never lived by the rules, she created them. Where Barış was composed, Elçin was spontaneous. Where he drew lines, she colored outside them. Their worlds collided during a late-night rehearsal for a drama project. The director had pushed them to explore emotions deeper, to let the rawness of love bleed into their performance. But in that dimly lit studio, something unexpected happened. When their eyes met in a silent pause between lines, the world outside seemed to blur. It wasn't acting anymore. It was real. Barış found himself intrigued by the way Elçin questioned life. She would wander off mid-scene, asking what love truly meant, what heartbreak really felt like. He admired her fire but fought against it, convincing himself it was all part of the work. Elçin, meanwhile, saw through his armor. She teased him, challenged him, pulled him into conversations about dreams, fears, and childhood secrets. Slowly, the man who guarded his heart like a fortress began to lower the gates. One evening after rehearsal, Elçin dragged him to a small cafe tucked into the winding alleys of Beyoğlu. They shared Turkish tea and laughed until the shopkeeper had to remind them it was closing time. Barış, who rarely laughed so freely, realized he didn't want the night to end. Their chemistry spilled from the stage into real life. The tabloids whispered, fans speculated, but behind closed doors, it was simpler, two souls learning how to fit together. Barış admired Elçin's bravery to love without fear. She admired his ability to listen, to protect, to steady her when her fire burned too wildly. But love stories are never without storms. Fame tested their bond. Schedules clashed. Rumors surfaced. There were nights of silence, unanswered calls, and questions neither of them knew how to answer. Yet every time they drifted apart, something pulled them back. It was as if Istanbul itself refused to let them go, its streets always leading them back to each other, its sunsets always painting the sky just when they needed a reminder. One spring evening, under the lanterns of a quiet garden, Elçin confessed what she had known from the very beginning. "This isn't just a story we're acting, Barış. This is ours. And I don't want to rewrite it with anyone else." For the first time, Barış let go of control. He smiled, took her hand, and simply said, the days blurred into weeks, yet every moment Barış and Elçin shared carved itself into memory. Their rehearsals were no longer just rehearsals. Each line delivered felt heavier, each pause between them charged with an unspoken electricity. Barış, who had always prided himself on keeping distance, began to notice the smallest details about her. The way Elçin bit her lip before laughing. How she tilted her head when she was curious. The way her energy filled a room so completely that silence seemed impossible when she was near. But what unsettled him most was how he wanted more of it, more of her. Late one evening, they lingered after the crew had gone. Scripts lay abandoned on the table, their coffee cups cold. Elçin doodled in the margins of her copy, drawing stars and crooked hearts. "You don't take notes seriously, do you?" Barış asked, amused. She smirked. "I do. Just not the way you do." Sliding the script across, he saw the words scribbled around her doodles. "What if love is just learning someone else's handwriting until it feels like your own?" Barış froze. It wasn't in the script, it was hers. A thought, a confession disguised as art. He didn't reply. He didn't need to. She already knew he'd read it twice. Offset, Istanbul seemed to conspire against their efforts to stay just friends. They'd run into each other on Istiklal Street, by accident. They'd share taxis after long nights, claiming it was practical. They'd stand too close on the ferry. Pretending the wind was why she leaned into him one night, as Galata Tower lit up behind them. Elçin whispered, "This city is dangerous." Barış arched a brow. "Why?" Because everywhere I go, it keeps giving me reasons not to forget you. Their closeness didn't go unnoticed. Paparazzi lenses caught fleeting smiles, laughter outside cafes, hands brushing too long. Tabloids spun stories, fans dissected every photo, hashtags trended overnight. Barış hated it. He wanted privacy, something real without the noise of headlines. Elçin, however, was fire in the face of gossip. "Let them talk," she said one night, defiance in her eyes. "They don't get to write our story." Her courage lit something in him, something that had been buried under discipline and restraint. It was during a night shoot, under artificial rain pouring on set, that everything almost changed. Their scene called for an argument that turned into silence. A silence that was meant to feel unresolved. But when the director yelled cut, Barış didn't step away. The rain plastered her hair to her face, her eyes burning into his. His hand lingered on her wrist, holding her there just a heartbeat too long. He wanted to say it then, that he was falling, that pretending was harder than admitting the truth. Elçin smiled faintly, as if she already knew the words he swallowed. BLCK in his apartment that night, Barış stared at the script she had written on. The stars, the crooked hearts, the line about love. He traced her handwriting with his finger, whispering the words into the empty room. Maybe love wasn't about perfect timing, maybe it was about courage. The air in Istanbul shifted as spring leaned into summer. The days grew longer, the nights warmer. And every glance between Barış and Elçin became harder to ignore. What had begun as stolen moments and half-finished sentences was now an ache that followed them everywhere. One evening, after a grueling day of shooting, Elçin called him with a simple message: "Don't go home. Meet me." Curiosity outweighed exhaustion. Barış followed her directions and found himself climbing the creaky stairs of an old apartment building in Karaköy. At the top, a wooden door opened onto a forgotten rooftop. The city stretched wide below them, mosques glowing under the night sky, the Bosphorus shimmering like liquid silver. A few candles flickered between plates of simit and a thermos of tea. Elçin stood there, wind tugging at her hair, eyes alive with mischief. "You always want control," she teased, handing him tea. "But sometimes life's best scenes aren't scripted." They sat side by side on the edge of the rooftop, their legs dangling above the sleeping city. For a while, they said nothing, just listened to distant music drifting from a nearby street, the hum of ferries in the distance. Barış finally broke the silence. "You scare me." Her head turned sharply. "Why?" "Because every time I'm near you, I stop being myself. I forget the rules, the plans, everything I thought mattered. And I don't know how to handle that." Elçin smiled, soft but certain. "Then stop handling it. Just feel it." "I can't pretend anymore, Elçin. It's not the script, it's not the cameras, it's you. I'm falling, and I don't know how to stop."